What if I told you that the reason you're not living the life you want has nothing to do with what you're doing, and everything to do with what you're saying? Right now, as you're watching this, you're probably sharing information that's blocking your own success and stealing your peace, and you don't even know it. Here's something that will blow your mind. Every single day, millions of people sabotage their own lives simply by talking too much about the wrong things. They tell the wrong people about their dreams, their struggles, their plans, and their victories. And with every word, they're giving away their power. But what if there was a different way? What if ancient wisdom could teach you exactly what to keep to yourself to protect your energy and accelerate your growth? What if I told you that silence isn't just golden? It's your secret weapon for creating everything you've ever wanted. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover 8 things that successful people never tell anyone. These aren't just random tips. These are life-changing principles that have been tested for thousands of years. Once you understand these secrets, you'll finally know why some people seem to effortlessly create amazing lives while others struggle endlessly. Your words have more power than you realize. It's time you learned how to use that power wisely. Get ready, because what you're about to learn will change everything you thought you knew about success, relationships, and inner peace. The first lesson about what you should never tell anyone centers around your future plans and dreams. There's a reason why successful people often work in silence for years before anyone notices their achievements. Every time you speak about your goals, you're actually spending mental energy that could be used to achieve them. Think of your mind like a battery. Each conversation about your plans drains a little bit of that battery. It's not that talking is bad, but when you talk too much about what you want to do instead of actually doing it, you end up feeling tired before you even start. Your brain is funny this way. When you tell people about your goals, your mind gets a small hit of satisfaction, almost like you've already accomplished something, but you haven't actually done anything yet. This false sense of achievement can make you less motivated to do the real work. It's like eating a snack when you're hungry instead of waiting for dinner. The snack feels good for a moment, but it ruins your appetite for the main meal. There's also something else that happens when you share your dreams too freely. Other people's doubts and negative thoughts can create invisible barriers in your path. Not everyone will be happy about your success, even people who care about you. Sometimes their own fears and limitations make them project negativity onto your dreams without even realizing it. When you keep your plans to yourself, you're like a gardener who plants seeds in rich, dark soil. The seed needs that dark, quiet space to grow strong roots before it pushes through the surface. If you dig it up every day to show people how it's growing, you'll kill it. Your dreams need that same kind of protected space to develop properly. The most successful people understand the power of working quietly. They know that real progress happens when nobody is watching. There's something beautiful about building something amazing without needing applause at every step. The satisfaction you get from this kind of quiet work is deeper and more lasting than any external validation. Working in silence also gives you freedom. When nobody knows what you're planning, you can change direction without having to explain yourself to anyone. You can try different approaches, make mistakes, and adjust your course without the pressure of other people's expectations. This flexibility is crucial because rarely does anything go exactly according to plan. The energy you save by not constantly explaining your goals can be channeled directly into achieving them. Instead of spending time convincing others why your dream is worth pursuing, you spend that time actually pursuing it. Instead of dealing with other people's doubts and questions, you focus on solving the real challenges that come with making your vision a reality. There's also wisdom in protecting your dreams from the weight of external expectations. When people know what you're trying to achieve, they start watching and waiting. Some will offer unsolicited advice, others will ask for constant updates, and some might even bet against you. All of this creates pressure that can turn your joyful pursuit into a stressful obligation. The ancient masters understood that the most powerful transformations happen in silence. Like a caterpillar in its cocoon, you need that private space to become who you're meant to be. When you finally emerge, people will see the butterfly, not the messy process of change that happened in the darkness. The second thing you should never tell anyone about involves your good deeds and acts of generosity. This might sound strange at first, but there's deep wisdom in keeping your kindness to yourself. When you help someone and then tell others about it, something changes inside you. What started as pure kindness becomes something else entirely. Your brain begins to expect praise and recognition for being good. Soon, you're not helping people because you genuinely care. You're helping them because you want to feel important or look good in front of others. Think about it this way. When you give money to someone who needs it and keep it completely private, how does that feel? Now, imagine doing the same thing, but immediately posting about it online or telling your friends. Can you feel the difference? In the first case, your heart feels warm and full. In the second case, part of your attention is already focused on what people will think of you. True generosity happens when nobody is watching. When you help someone and walk away without expecting anything in return, not even recognition, that's when real magic happens. Your heart grows stronger, and you start to understand what genuine compassion feels like. There's also something powerful that occurs when you keep your good deeds secret. The energy of that kindness stays with you instead of being scattered to the wind through words. It's like having a special treasure that only you know about. Every time you remember that secret act of kindness, you feel good all over again. But when you tell people about your good deeds, you're actually asking them to give you something back. Their admiration, their praise, their respect. This turns your act of giving into an act of taking. You've changed a gift into a transaction. Some people become addicted to the praise they get from talking about their charitable acts. They start helping others not because people need help, but because they need the ego boost that comes from being seen as a good person. This is a trap that many fall into without realizing it. The most genuinely kind people you'll ever meet rarely talk about their generosity. They give because giving feels right, not because it makes them look good. They understand that the best reward for doing good is the peace and joy they feel inside their own heart. When you keep your good deeds private, you also protect the dignity of the people you're helping. Nobody wants to feel like they're being used as a prop in someone else's story about how generous they are. By staying quiet about your help, you honor both your own intentions and the other person's privacy. There's an old saying that when you do good deeds in secret, the universe rewards you in ways you never expected. This isn't about magical thinking. It's about how your character develops when you practice genuine kindness without any ulterior motives. The satisfaction you get from anonymous acts of kindness is deeper and longer lasting than any applause you might receive. It builds real confidence and self-respect because you know you're genuinely a good person, not just someone who plays one for an audience. The third thing you must be careful about sharing is your personal struggles and deep traumas. This doesn't mean you should never seek help or support, but it means being very smart about who you trust with your pain. Not everyone in your life has the emotional strength to carry your heavy stories. When you share deep trauma with someone who isn't equipped to handle it, you end up hurting both yourself and them. It's like asking someone to lift a weight that's too heavy for them. They'll drop it, and you'll both get injured. Most people mean well, but they simply don't know what to do with serious emotional pain. They might try to fix you with simple advice, or they might feel so uncomfortable that they start avoiding you. Some people will even use your vulnerabilities against you later when they're angry or want to hurt you. Your deepest wounds need time and the right environment to heal properly. Just like a physical injury needs to be kept clean and protected while it mends, emotional trauma needs careful attention and the right conditions. Exposing it to the wrong people at the wrong time can make the healing process much harder and longer. There's also something important that happens when you share trauma too freely. You can get stuck in the story of your pain instead of moving through it. Every time you tell someone about what happened to you, you relive it a little bit. If you're constantly retelling your traumatic experiences, you're keeping yourself trapped in that painful moment instead of healing from it. The strongest people learn to process their pain privately first. They sit with their feelings, understand what happened to them, and begin the healing work in the quiet safety of their own mind and heart. This doesn't mean they never get help. It means they choose their helpers very carefully. When you do decide to share your struggles, make sure you're talking to someone who has the wisdom and emotional maturity to truly help you. This might be a professional counselor, a trusted mentor, or someone who has walked a similar path and found their way through it. Some people collect trauma stories like trophies. They love hearing about drama and pain because it makes them feel better about their own lives or gives them something interesting to talk about with others. These people are not your friends, even if they pretend to care. Your healing journey is sacred and personal. It deserves to be protected from people who don't understand its importance or who might treat your pain as entertainment. The right people will create a safe space for you to share when you're ready, and they won't pressure you to reveal more than you're comfortable sharing. True healing often happens in silence, through your own inner work, meditation, and careful self-reflection. The answers you need are usually inside you already. They just need the right conditions to emerge. Sometimes talking too much about your problems actually prevents you from finding these inner solutions. The fourth thing you should keep to yourself involves family conflicts and problems within your home. Your family issues should stay within your family, and there are important reasons why this matters so much. When you complain about your family members to outsiders, you're breaking something sacred. Family bonds are different from any other relationship in your life. These are the people who knew you before you became who you are today, and they'll be connected to you long after other relationships fade away. When you air your family's dirty laundry in public, you damage those connections in ways that are hard to repair. Every family has problems, every single one. But the families that stay strong over time are the ones that handle their issues privately. They fight, they disagree, they get frustrated with each other, but they don't invite the whole world to watch their drama unfold. Here's what happens when you tell outsiders about your family conflicts. Those outsiders form opinions about your family members based only on your side of the story. They don't know the full picture, they don't understand the history, and they don't have any real investment in helping your family heal. But now they have negative feelings toward people they barely know, and that creates weird energy that follows you around. Your friends and coworkers don't need to know that your brother is irresponsible with money, or that your mother drives you crazy with her constant worrying. These stories don't help anyone, and they definitely don't help solve the actual problems you're dealing with at home. When you keep family problems within the family, you protect everyone's dignity. Your family members deserve the chance to grow and change without having their worst moments broadcast to your social circle. The annoying thing your sister did last week shouldn't become a story that defines her in other people's minds. There's also something practical that happens when you stop talking about family drama with outsiders. You realize that many of these problems aren't as big as they seemed when you were venting about them. Sometimes we make small disagreements feel huge just by talking about them over and over again. Family conflicts are also opportunities for everyone involved to learn and grow together. But this only works when the family can work through their issues without interference from people who don't really understand what's going on. Outside opinions often make family problems more complicated rather than simpler. The strongest families create a protective boundary around themselves. They might have intense discussions and heated arguments behind closed doors, but they present a united front to the outside world. This doesn't mean they're being fake. It means they understand that family loyalty is more important than being right or getting sympathy from strangers. When you do need to talk about family stress, choose very carefully who you trust with that information. It should be someone who truly cares about your well-being and who won't judge your family based on temporary conflicts. Most importantly, it should be someone who will encourage you to work things out with your family rather than taking sides against them. The fifth thing you should never tell anyone is your true financial situation. Money has a strange power over people, and being too open about your finances can create problems you never saw coming. When people know how much money you have, they start treating you differently. If they think you have more than them, some will become jealous or resentful. If they think you have less, some might look down on you or pity you. Either way, money information changes how people see you, and rarely in a good way. Here's something most people don't realize. When you tell someone you're doing well financially, you're not just sharing information. You're also putting a target on your back. Suddenly, people start coming to you with their money problems. They ask for loans, expect you to pay for things, or assume you should be more generous than everyone else. On the flip side, when you tell people you're struggling with money, you open yourself up to unwanted advice, judgment, and sometimes even people taking advantage of your situation. Some people will see your financial stress as an opportunity to get things from you cheaply or to make themselves feel better about their own money situation. The wisest approach is to keep your financial life private regardless of whether you're doing well or poorly. Live modestly even when you have plenty, and maintain your dignity even when things are tight. This protects you from both the people who want what you have and the people who want to judge how you handle what you don't have. Money also brings out weird behaviors in people who are close to you. Friends might start keeping score of who pays for what. Family members might develop expectations about what you should contribute to family expenses or celebrations. Coworkers might treat you differently if they know your salary compared to theirs. There's freedom in keeping your finances private. You can make money decisions based on what's right for you and your family, not based on what other people think you should be doing with your money. You can be generous when you want to be, without people expecting it from you all the time. Many people also make the mistake of using money information to try to impress others or gain respect. But respect that comes from how much money you have isn't real respect. It's just people being nice to you because they want something. Real respect comes from your character, not your bank account. When you keep quiet about money, you also protect yourself from people who might try to scam you or take advantage of you. Criminals and manipulative people often target individuals they believe have money to lose. The less people know about your financial situation, the safer you are. Living below your means, regardless of how much you actually have, is one of the smartest strategies for both financial success and peace of mind. When people can't tell how much money you have, they have to relate to you as a person rather than as a potential source of money or someone to compete with financially. The sixth thing you should keep to yourself is your successes and personal achievements. This might sound backwards since we're taught to celebrate our wins, but there's ancient wisdom in staying humble about your accomplishments. Success has a way of changing how people treat you, and not always in positive ways. When you share your achievements too openly, you risk awakening jealousy and competition in people who were perfectly fine before they knew about your wins. Some friends might start comparing their lives to yours and feeling bad about themselves, which can damage your relationships. There's also something that happens inside you when you talk too much about your successes. Your ego starts to get attached to being seen as successful, and soon you're working hard, not because you love what you do, but because you want more achievements to brag about. This changes your motivation from pure joy to needy validation. The most genuinely successful people often live very simple lives and rarely talk about their accomplishments. They know that true success is measured by inner peace and contentment, not by how impressed other people are with their achievements. They've learned that external recognition feels good for a moment, but it doesn't last, and it can actually become addictive. When you keep your wins private, you get to enjoy them in a pure way. You know you've accomplished something meaningful, and that knowledge fills you with genuine satisfaction. You don't need anyone else to validate your success, because you can feel its value deep in your own heart. Staying quiet about achievements also helps you maintain better relationships with the people you care about. Your friends can relate to you as a person rather than feeling like they need to compete with you or measure their own worth against your accomplishments. This keeps your connections authentic and real. There's a difference between being proud of yourself and being proud in front of others. You can acknowledge your own growth and celebrate your progress privately, while remaining humble and accessible to the people around you. This balance allows you to honor your achievements without alienating anyone or feeding your ego. Some people make the mistake of thinking that if they don't announce their successes, nobody will know they're doing well. But the truth is that genuine success has a way of speaking for itself. People notice when you're doing well, even if you never say a word about it. Your energy, your confidence, and your peace of mind all reflect your inner achievements. When you do need to share professional accomplishments for work purposes, you can do it in a factual, humble way without making it about your ego or trying to impress people. There's a big difference between necessary communication and unnecessary boasting. The most fulfilling achievements are often the ones that nobody else even knows about. Personal growth, overcoming fears, developing patience, learning to forgive. These victories don't come with certificates or public recognition, but they're the accomplishments that actually change your life and bring lasting happiness. The seventh thing you must never tell anyone is your criticisms and negative opinions about other people. Every negative word you speak about someone else comes back to hurt you in ways you might not immediately see. When you criticize others, you're actually poisoning your own mind and energy. Think about how you feel after spending time complaining about someone. You feel drained, angry, and negative. That's because speaking badly about others lowers your own vibration and pulls you down to a darker emotional place. There's also a practical reason to keep criticism to yourself. The negative things you say about others usually find their way back to them eventually. People talk, and your words will travel through conversations until they reach the person you were criticizing. This creates unnecessary conflict and damages relationships that might have been repaired with time and understanding. Your words have power, and when you use them to tear others down, you're creating negative energy that spreads outward like ripples in a pond. This energy doesn't just affect the person you're talking about. It affects everyone who hears your criticism, including yourself. You become known as someone who talks negatively about people, and others will wonder what you say about them when they're not around. Most people who behave badly are dealing with their own pain, fear, or confusion. When you understand this, it becomes easier to feel compassion for them instead of judgment. The person who's rude to you might be struggling with problems you know nothing about. The coworker who's difficult might be going through something terrible at home. Gossiping and criticizing others also becomes a bad habit that's hard to break. Once you start looking for things to complain about in people, you'll find them everywhere. Your mind gets trained to notice the negative instead of the positive, and this makes you a more negative person overall. There's tremendous power in choosing silence when you feel the urge to criticize someone. This silence gives you space to think about why that person's behavior bothered you so much. Often, the things that annoy us most about others are things we don't like about ourselves. Using criticism as a mirror for self-reflection is much more valuable than just venting your frustration. When you stop talking negatively about others, you'll notice that people start trusting you more. They know that if you don't gossip about other people to them, you probably don't gossip about them to other people either. This makes you a safer person to be around and deepens your relationships. Sometimes staying quiet about someone's bad behavior feels like you're letting them get away with something. But speaking negatively about them to others doesn't actually solve the problem or change their behavior. If someone's actions truly need to be addressed, it's better to speak directly to them or to someone who can actually do something about the situation. The most peaceful people have learned to see difficult people as teachers rather than enemies. Every challenging person in your life is giving you an opportunity to practice patience, understanding, and inner strength. When you shift your perspective this way, criticism naturally transforms into curiosity and compassion. The eighth and final thing you should never tell anyone is your plans for revenge or the resentments you carry. This is perhaps the most important lesson of all, because holding on to anger and plotting revenge is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. When you carry resentment against someone and talk about wanting to get them back, you're keeping yourself trapped in a prison of negative emotions. Every time you tell someone about how angry you are or what you want to do to hurt the person who wronged you, you're feeding that anger and making it stronger instead of letting it go. Revenge fantasies feel satisfying in your mind, but they're actually destroying your peace from the inside out. The person who hurt you is probably living their life without thinking about you at all, while you're spending your precious time and energy planning ways to hurt them back. Who's really being punished here? There's also something dangerous about sharing revenge plans with others. Some people will encourage your anger because they enjoy drama or conflict. Others might try to talk you into doing something you'll regret later. And some people will remember what you said and use it against you if they ever need to. Revenge talk rarely stays private. The universe has its own way of balancing things out without your help. When someone does wrong, life has a way of teaching them lessons through natural consequences. But when you try to force karma by planning revenge, you often end up creating more problems for yourself and disrupting the natural flow of justice. Talking about your resentments also keeps you stuck in the past instead of moving forward with your life. Every conversation about how someone wronged you pulls you back into that painful moment instead of helping you heal and grow beyond it. You become defined by what happened to you rather than who you're becoming despite what happened. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook or pretending they didn't hurt you. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of carrying their actions around in your heart. When you forgive, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for your own peace and happiness. The energy you spend on revenge and resentment could be used for so many better things. You could build something beautiful, help someone in need, learn a new skill, or strengthen your relationships with people who actually matter in your life. Every minute spent planning revenge is a minute stolen from your own potential. Some of the strongest people in the world are those who've learned to transform their pain into power. Instead of seeking revenge against those who hurt them, they use that experience to become wiser, more compassionate, and more determined to create positive change in their own lives and in the world. When you stop talking about revenge and resentment, you'll notice that your mind becomes clearer and your heart becomes lighter. You'll have more energy for the things that actually matter, and you'll attract better experiences because you're no longer focused on negativity and conflict. The ultimate revenge against someone who hurt you is to live such a good, peaceful, and successful life that their actions become irrelevant to your story. When you reach that level of inner strength and happiness, you realize that the best response to pain isn't more pain. It's healing, growth, and the wisdom that comes from rising above what tried to bring you down. Now you know the 8 things that successful and peaceful people never tell anyone. These aren't just tips. They're life-changing principles that can transform your relationships, protect your energy, and accelerate your personal growth in ways you never imagined. The power is now in your hands. You can continue living the way you always have, sharing everything with everyone, and wondering why your life feels chaotic and unfulfilled. Or you can start practicing the ancient wisdom of strategic silence and watch how quickly your life begins to change for the better. But here's the thing. This knowledge only works if you actually use it. Start today. Choose one of these 8 principles and commit to practicing it for the next week. Notice how differently you feel when you protect your energy instead of giving it away through unnecessary words. If this video opened your eyes to something new, I need you to do 2 things right now. First, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because I share life-changing wisdom like this every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Second, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. We all know people who are sabotaging themselves by talking too much about the wrong things. This could be exactly what they need to turn their life around. Your silence is your power. Your discretion is your protection. Your wisdom is your weapon against a world that wants to drain your energy and steal your peace. Use these tools wisely and watch your life transform in ways you never thought possible. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive even deeper into the ancient secrets of living a truly fulfilled life.